Hello and welcome to the last game of tonight. It will be the 867th Hawks versus the 29th Troll Kings. And if the Hawks win tonight, it will be a four-way tie for seeds 2 through 5. So this is going to be a really exciting game overall for the league. We've never had a three-way tie, let alone a four-way tie. So pretty insane that we're even in this position. So we'll have to see how this game goes. As production gets some things ready, we're going to intro the players for tonight and talk about the draft, which is already done. So on the side of the, actually, I'll let you do it, Corn.
On the side of the 29th IS Troll Kings, we have Senior Airman Eric Kornmuller as number one Creed fan playing Urgot. We have Senior Airman, Staff Sergeant Anastasia playing Lilia. In the jungle, we have Staff Sergeant Walton playing Zed as Braxy, bad. And we have Senior Airman Tran Duhasian playing Smolder, and we have the Dios, DZ Dios, Senior Airman Zabal playing Senna.
And on the side of the 867 Hawks, we have City in Black as we have I'm gonna have to remember all these. A1C Billingsley as City in Black in the top lane. We have Staff Sergeant Washington as Logan Silvers in the jungle. We have Staff Sergeant Jagielski as the real Direthorn in the mid lane. Staff Sergeant Navarro as Manava on AD carry, and Master Sergeant Gregory as Kulin on support. So now looking more towards the draft, how do you guys feel about the comps that we're looking at for tonight?
I love the Vigar from Hawks into the triple melee from Troll Kings. I like it.
Yeah, honestly, I know Urgot isn't a melee champion.
Or kind of melee, I guess, quasi.
Yeah. Lilia and Urgot kind of play more like a melee champion just because they have that shorter range. So it definitely does give them a little bit of protection for their team. I will say though, I feel like this is mainly a 2 damage comp with the Vigar and the Nyla. So if they don't pop off, it's going to be a little worrisome. But the benefit is there is some synergy between Nyla and Sejuani. Nyla can actually stack the melee stacks for the Sejuani E's, so that can be pretty good for their team with Nyla and Garen being able to help stack those stuns.
I am worried for late game too, I guess, because even though Vigar's late game is great, Smolder's late game is very, very great.
Keep in mind, we are playing this after the patch rolled out.
Still, it's still 225 stacks. They nerfed some damage numbers on Smolder, but Smolder at 225 stacks is still a menace, even with the patch changes.
True. I will say as well, the Zed pick into Vigar, and Sejuani can be pretty rough because Vigar can E, and just that's where Zed ult will land, and it's an instant stun and instant kill. So really good, I would say, like, good draft on the part of the 867th Hawks with the Vigar pick.
I do like late game for Troll Kings also because of Lilia and Senna support. Senna support will be basically an AD carry, and Lilia
Smolder
scales very well. Well, I talked up the Smolder. He's gonna be a menace if the game doesn't end before he gets 225 stacks, which is probably ideal for Hawks.
I think what's interesting is I know Washington Logan Silvers has been playing the Sejuani most this season, but you really have to respect what kind of champions you pick into Sketched over here. He's not a slouch jungler. He's definitely a lot better than his current rank is. And Lilia, as I would know, is probably one of the hardest Sejuani matchups. She just gets to perma kite you if you're ever trying to fight around her, and locking her down is nigh impossible if she builds any tenacity. So that will be a pretty difficult matchup in the jungle, and we'll have to see if he's just able to still engage fights and lock down the rest of the team anyway, or if Lilia is gonna really be the decider in how these fights go.
Does anybody else have any comments on the draft? I will say, from the bans, it looks like we're focusing out the mid laners Diana. We're putting a lot of pressure into the support, taking out those pick champions, Blitzcrank and Thresh, and then we're putting some nasty picks away from the top laner as far as the 867 bans go. Like I believe these are the two strongest champions that the top laner plays. And then over on the red side, I think the bans are a little weaker, I would say, from red side as far as like we're taking away Volibear because he's good, and then we're comp banning the Morgana. It's okay, but I don't know how I feel about the Akali and Swain bans.
Yeah, overall pretty interesting. I definitely respect taking out the Diana and just removing removing Braxy's ability to play that champion. I actually have never seen him on Zed, so I'm really interested to see how that goes. I know he's not the best on more immobile champions, so maybe having a dash will help him out.
From a little birdie, I heard there was a actual discussion when the mid laner decided to pick Zed, and the team captain was like, "Are you, quote unquote, are you certain?"
Yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting pick. Heavy AD on the side of the Troll Kings, and the only AP being Lilia, so it's going to be a little bit dependent on Lilia actually being ahead, especially with some tankier people for the Hawks, the Sejuani and the Garen. I think City and Black has played Garen before. I don't think he's performed on it yet. So it's probably best that the Troll Kings took away some of like the other strong top laner being Volibear right now. So I think that's pretty good. And securing the Urgot for yourself, even though it was last pick, I mean, just still pretty good. Yeah. Plus, Mr. Creed fan is definitely a degen Urgot player.
True.
All right, it sounds like we are ready to get into this game, so we will get that up real quick and we will fade back in a moment. We don't have stream. All right, give it. Okay, got it. And we're getting into this game. So I know two of us didn't do introductions. So I am Staff Sergeant Porter, also known as Sejuani's Flail, and I'm joined here with two great casters. Let me go to my other fellow Air Force first.
I am Senior Airman Cornmuller.
And I am the... Oh, go ahead.
No, my bad.
I thought you were done.
Undisclosed screen name.
I'm the other half of Team Brain Cell, Coach Matt, also known as Sniper.
Oh my god, I missed our opportunity to bring it back. Don't worry, next time.
Gotta use it sparingly.
Yeah, we don't want to kill it. Yeah, we're very good at making sure that we don't overuse jokes, so we will hold on to it. So looks like just pretty standard fanning out for both of the teams. Some early wards out of the Troll Kings into both sides of the jungle, so they absolutely know where Sejuani is starting this game. Very crucial early information, and we actually didn't have any early information being sought after from the Hawks, so probably I mean, I'm not gonna say which way or the other, but definitely not going to get to start this game knowing exactly what's going on. So I mean, you can assume where Lilia starts, but Can never be sure. I've seen
Good
Sketch
vision on
start
Raptors.
red side when I definitely don't expect him to.
So for this, I'd say really good vision on Raptors and blue side. Yeah, keeping that vision. But what we kind of didn't see over the whole replay thing was that the Troll Kings actually attempted a invade, but was quickly taken away.
When I was getting absolutely bullied right here.
Oh yeah. I
Like
think it's just the pains of being effectively a melee AD carry against double range, and you only have a Yuumi to protect you, so I don't know.
Look at
like
Sejuani coming in here.
You could say Manava deserves it for having a Yuumi support, though.
The 3 camp on the bot side into the bot lane gank is a little interesting. The bot laners are only level 2, but is well behind them. Now dashing in, dropping the exhaust onto DZ Dios. DZ going to have to flash out, not going to get stunned by Sejuani yet. There it goes. Now Manava going to secure that kill, and that will be first blood for the Hawks.
That worked out great. Who knew Logan Silvers had to then to make such a good play?
Yeah, that's pretty good, but now he's going to have to hurry over to this blue buff. It looks like Sketch is already pathing there. He may lose his whole topside jungle for this.
He's hanging out in Tribush bot. Not sure what he's doing.
Top laner is attempting to get Prio, but it's hard to push into Garen there.
Okay, so that will definitely be the blue buff for Sketched, and we'll have to see if he goes on to any other camps. Most of his jungle is cleared. This stolen blue buff will be his 6th camp of the game so far. Both of the crabs are available, and he does have priority. Going to get caught out by a ward, but doesn't realize that both of the laners have already roamed. Going to have to run away here. May have to flash out. Zed is going to blast going over the wall. Braxy coming in here, but not going to be able to do much with the support of the real Direthorn. So that will just be blue buff into the top Scuttle Crab for Sketched.
Phase rush OP.
Yeah.
From a Sejuani main, is that actually like, I don't play Sejuani. Is that like a rune that Sejuani takes a lot?
I'd say it's really non-traditional. It's definitely pretty good if you want to like spam gank and really be able to stick on people, but it very much shits on your ability to be tankier in fights, and with your passive only lasting for the first few seconds of each fight, not having something like Aftershock to really help you stay a bit tankier can be pretty bad. I will say compared to all the other keystones there are to take, it's probably the only other good one that isn't just standard Aftershock, so.
Ooh. That was a close one. Definitely not a whole lot happening after that blue buff invade.
Looks like both teams are just opting to take their time and like go for the guarantees right now. Looks like, yeah, both sides are staying pretty healthy. Top lane's low on mana, and but it looks like, you know what, these guys are trying to crash this wave here into the side of the 29th IS, and we're seeing a gank because of it.
Yeah, Manava just jumping in here, but Sketch is coming down, and I don't know if they'll have the ability to really get out of here. That will be Kulin going down, and now Manava going to get slowed up and chased down with the extra move speed. Sketch with the flash Q does get the double kill for his team. Huge gank out of there.
That was a great gank by Sketch. Sketch is just showing why he has some of the highest stats this season, or this split.
Phase Rush going to stick on, but not walking ahead of Sketch right now. Going to get rooted, flashing in, not able to land the W2 that will miss, and Logan Silvers will be going down for this. Oh, I think honestly that's a bit of a micro misplay. Just like not walking ahead of the Lily as much as you can to keep up with her. So then he has to get forced to flash, and then he's pretty much at max range where he has to land both parts of the W to secure that kill. And even if he does at that point, he was going to die either way. So yeah, very not worth.
Is it, even if he gets the kill, is it worth getting it if it means you're going to give a kill to Smolder or Senna?
Probably not. I mean, you like assuming that shutdown gold had already spawned on Lilia, then you get kill and a half gold, but you give kill and a half gold to the other team technically with the assist gold. So I don't really see that being worth unless you were able to kill her before she really gets to her team. Once she got to her team, I think you just have to let it go.
Take a look at the CS differences from the side. Looks like we're seeing a big gap in the jungle and CS, and we're seeing a pretty decent gap as far as top lane goes. And pretty, yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, there's only a 2-kill advantage, so that's 600 gold right there, and then all the rest of this 1.5k gold lead is just from farm differentials, so very big for this early game for all these laners on the side of the Troll Kings to be farming so well.
So, as a question, how do you feel about Grubs versus Dragon in general here? Because we see the 29th is trading Grubs for Dragon again, as we've seen them do a lot. How do you feel about that?
So early in the season, I was personally really prioritizing Grubs, and I think that was overall our strategy, just because the Gruff buff feels really useful when you can get 5 and 6. It just helps you tank towers a little bit longer, gets you more chip damage, whether you're pushing as a team or solo splitting. But what I've switched to more recently is if we can have the tempo and like be ready to take the first dragon near to or on spawn, I would rather just prioritize first dragon and then be ready for every like dragon that comes after that, just to get a lot of a fight going down here in the bot lane. We're gonna dash in, drop the ultimate.
I don't think he needed a flash there, but I mean I'm happy he's trying to ensure he doesn't die there.
Yeah. But yeah, I would much rather, if I can get the first dragon pretty close to spawn, just keep the dragons stacking and just try to push for an early soul. I think soul is just so strong currently in all cases of whichever soul you're getting, and so it can just be a really good tool to help you get a pretty good lead at the part of the game where it starts leaning into the late game.
Decent freeze from the top laner here, but no, what I want to say is I kind of agree with you. I think Grub's value is really, in my opinion, is really early. It really helps for the first couple of towers, but I think it pitters off when you take in the fact that like Dragon is essentially means -5 minutes until you hit that soul advantage. Like, yeah. Like, I mean, you could see it from our game. You know, you guys had a very like, 501st versus 29th. That was a very scary moment when you got soul point there, and we were like, oh no, like, because like a soul like that, I forget, soul is like
Hextech, I think.
Yeah, is so strong.
Yeah, it definitely can be pretty big. Oh, you have a little bit of a gank coming out here. Ghost getting dropped in the bot lane as well as flash from DZ Dios, but not able to set that up. Yeah, I have to agree with you. The soul stacking is just so strong, and unless you have a comp that's specifically designed for allowing split push, like a Trundle or name other split push champion in the top lane.
Trundle, my brain is getting numb. I can't think of anything
There's another one that's not Urgot that I can't think of right now. Oh, Yorick. Yorick is the other big one. So Trundle, Yorick, Urgot, or even if you have like a mid laner who's definitely going to be splitting later, like that's the points where I would say it's important to prioritize the dragons. Oh, we're gonna have to pause again. Deathmark coming out on a Manava, but that will be exhaust getting dropped down. Going to go back out, and Mom coming in for some additional damage, pushing them out with the loss of the final chapter, and teleport from City in Black will be on the back line. Demacian Justice executes DZ Dios. Now we're matching the teleport from #1 Creed fan, but 3-man Lilting Lullaby onto the side of the Hawks, and that will be Fear Beyond Death coming out, getting the execute, getting a Fear onto Sejuani, finishing her off as well. And now Manava, Dire Thorn, and Kulin just hiding under their tower, trying to clear off this wave as the Troll Kings start to leave. I couldn't think of any better way to end that.
Dire Thorn had such a good idea with the cage around the teleport, but if he had shifted that cage like 400 range to the left and kept it so that the right side would cover the teleport, but the left side would cover the rest of the Troll Kings, that could have been a huge, huge cage and maybe saved a life.
Yeah. It's interesting because the Asian may be so hungry that he could eat a whole bunch of Gromps, but the rest of the Troll Kings are so hungry they could eat a whole bunch of champions. Little Smolder quote reference right there.
Could we, since we're at 12 minutes production, could we get a stack check on both Veigar and Smolder? Whichever you choose. So Smolder, we're at 65 stacks. And Veigar, we're at 93.
Not too bad from either of them. I don't know exactly what the pacing should be for Veigar. If I had to guess, maybe it's a little bit behind, but...
Yeah. He's missing a lot of minion double hit opportunities, and that's you have to go for that as Veigar. You can't ignore it.
What is Veigar expecting? Like 100 per 10?
150 at this point, probably. Yeah, like...
So we're on the second round of grubs. There are 3 grubs already from the side of the Troll Kings, 1 from the Hawks, but Lilith Lullaby going down onto 2. They will finish off Sejuani now. That anti-tankiness is really coming in important right here. That will be Demacian Justice getting dropped down, but Garen will go down as a trade 2 for 1 in favor of the Troll Kings.
Yeah, but 5 stacks in favor of Veigar, am I right?
Yeah. And actually the best part of that whole fight, despite it being a 2 for 1 towards the Troll Kings, is that the Hawks actually stole away 2 grubs, so they denied the Rift Grub buff, so that can be a little bit of a bonus for them, a little bit of a bright side, but now we're trying to use some tempo from the Troll Kings to immediately go onto this dragon. Pink Ward in the pit, so the Hawks should know that this is going on, but we'll have to see if they try to contest or maybe attempt to steal this. They already have 1 dragon. If they can keep it stacking, it could be pretty good for them.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, Logan Silver sleeps tonight.
Yeah, we're just not... We clear the ward. They are obviously taking the dragon, and we pretty much don't even check it at all. Like, I really don't know right there. Even if I didn't feel like we had the opportunity to take that, with how we were talking about recently with the dragon stacking, I would have, as the jungler, just at least tried to look for a steal. Like, if I could place a ward, try to time it, maybe go for it. Worst case, I don't get it and I die. I'm off the map for a little bit, but I'm already behind in the terms of this jungle matchup, so I may as well try to be useful to my team somehow. And if I can keep the dragon stacking, that gets us 1 more dragon closer to the soul and 1 dragon further for the other team.
Either that or truly give up on it and just go keep clearing your jungle.
Yeah.
And what we had there was neither.
It was like lingering with no vision check, no attempt.
I want to say really good performance from Nilah as far as like out CSing the Smolder and like trading pretty well in the bot lane every so often. Like, did I say Smolder? I meant Nilah. Because if we look at the CS gaps, like side of 867, the only one currently like keeping up. Oh. It's like Nilah will get a shutdown on Smolder. Like I said, like this is really good performance from the Nilah and the Yuumi, of course. You know,
Manava knows that you need to full send. You can't let Smolder just get away with a safe game. You can't do it. You gotta punish.
Sometimes I forget about Yuumi, and it's like Yuumi is such a strong champion. Oh.
Man, I bet you were shocked by that corn, weren't you? You were shocked that that just came out of the jungle.
Yeah. That took me by surprise right now.
When that hit you, what were you thinking?
I was.
When it was live.
Yeah, I think a birdie from the top laner, from what I know, is that it really scared him. Oh, looks like Sejuani is gonna.
Oh, Fear Beyond Death coming out onto
the stun,
the enemy top laner. Gonna get the Fear and push away the Logan Silvers right there, keeping him alive. Holy cow. Creed fan living with a sliver of HP against the Silvers over here. And now the Lilting Lullaby snipe with the I don't know, soccer ball thing. And that will be a second kill going down onto Logan Silvers. Now, Creed, tell us, does your team intentionally disrespect other teams, or do they just go with the flow? We're having a bit of a fight right down here.
I'm not certain, but
sorry, just Apotheos is going right there. DZ Dios will get executed or killed, but they get the tower trade.
Yeah, he did the best thing there.
Yeah, so, yeah, do you guys intentionally disrespect? Are there only certain teams that you respect? What's going on? Because right now I see a Magi's coming out from Sketch.
So, what I will say, I'm not keen to all the details, but I will say is that I heard from the support after the first blood that there was a little emoting from the 867. Now, however, with some knowledge about how first bloods go, emotes drop when you get first blood. So, from a little birdie, I heard that the 29th IS really I don't know what the word is, but like they heard that there was emoting
because of an automatic emote.
Yes.
Now, does anyone on the 29th know that you can mute enemy emotes?
I will have to notify the members of the 29th IS after this game.
Well, a little bit of a rivalry getting started because we think some BMing's going on. A little unfortunate. Aside from that, we're having the death mark coming down onto Manava, going to have to try to fight this one out for the best he can if he wants to stay alive. Sketch going to get some damage down and be able to help him finish that kill. That kill will go over to Braxy, but in the mid lane, DZ Dios getting caught out and going down to Real Direthorn as Braxy finishes off the remaining Yuumi in the bot lane. And that will be the dragon.
It was unfortunate that Manava didn't have the ult up. It had probably less than 10 seconds left, and when Manava died, totally unfortunate. When Kulin died, though, I mean, it's deserved, right? Like, that's what you get for picking Yuumi. That's all I can say.
So, I'm not so certain about this game, but I will say, in my solo queue games, whenever I see a Yuumi, I'm like, okay, you know, when you kill one champion, you get another one for free. It's like a buy one, get one free deal.
Yeah. It's definitely a plus, assuming, you know, you actually catch out the champion that she's on and they're not nearby other team. Okay, so we figured it out for this game. Now, in general, as a representative for the best team that's been performing so far in the league, what teams would you guys say you're actually, I guess, concerned about, worried to play against, actually respect, or is it just no hogs held?
So honestly,
how can they respect anyone when they don't even respect themselves? That's the other question you have to ask. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I know that's true for Sketch.
So I gotta look at the rosters real quick. It's not like I don't have. It's just like I can't remember all the time. But I will say the 32nd is always a nasty one to play against, solely because as a top laner, like that's one of the harder matchups I've ever played like against is Yubi. He's pretty good. And you know what? I'm going to have to also mention the FAA team because they just put in a very good top laner for a starter after Senior Minfig had to go away for a little bit. So I will mention the FA team, and then feel free to cut me off whenever if there's a play.
Nothing happened. Nothing important happened. We actually passed just a lot of nothing. So.
And maybe they'll get this Baron. Maybe they won't continue.
And oh yeah, I don't know. I can't remember, to be honest. But I will say, like, If I were to go on, I think I would be mentioning all the teams, because no, seriously, the 29th IS, while having this very good like score, has had some very close games, and it was like, and we had a very crushing defeat too. Like, despite our score, I can go on about all the teams and how well they play, because they really do. But
yeah, I definitely agree. I would say early on in the season, your team's individual skill very much stood out, but as the rest of these teams have gotten a lot of time to play together, whether it's through the games or through any practice they're doing, I think a lot of teams in the league have all just gotten inherently better. I feel like if we played the entire regular season over again with the level of cohesion that all the teams have right now, the standings would be vastly different. I think we'd see some bottom teams doing a lot better and some of the top teams doing noticeably worse, just because they probably would have lost some games that they ended up winning. So I do think it will be a true show of skill once we get into the playoffs. And actually, speaking of show of skill, we have Glacial Prison coming out onto Braxy right there, but Death Marked onto Real Direthorn and getting back out of there. Demacian Justice going to keep him alive from the Dawning Shadow, getting the shield, but City in Black will flash in to finish that kill. It will be a shutdown, and now they finished off Logan Silvers. In the meantime, DZ Dios and Da Asian just hiding out City in Black right here, and Sketch comes in to help his team finish off that kill.
Now, you mentioned a crushing defeat. Is the reason that crushing defeat happened because you have a crush on Tony Tallboy? Can you tell us?
Yeah, you know, that game was my lowest kill game against top laners, so I might have
confirm or
to
deny
agree.
that you fed and inted and intentionally lost that game?
I can.
It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. Confirm or deny.
I'm gonna have to deny. I think there's a lot of problems with that game. But
Well, I'll find
there
the
were a
clips.
lot of problems, and if
I'll
you
find the
like
clip of
organize
the
them, a
top
lot
of
of
the
them
wall.
start with the words "corn did" or "didn't do." You're damn right about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise though. Like, you were going against the best top laner in FMC, so we have to, like, you know, put some respect on the name, right? Like,
totally.
you can only be the second best, just because of like how he's performed. I think statistics wise, we've seen it. It's hands down Tony Tallboy in first place.
You're
and
right,
then
because when
number
he
one Freak
plays,
fan in second.
it
like
looks like he
gold?
truly has put his hands down, and they're not even on the keyboard anymore, right? When Tony Tallboy plays, like sometimes
It really does feel like he just plays with his feet, honestly. Feet and mouse only.
Is it like golf, where the lower the score is, the better it is?
Cannot confirm or deny.
Well, that's what it could be, but he thinks it's like basketball, so he's trying to get as many deaths as possible and really crank up those numbers.
Yeah, he didn't realize that if you get to dunk on him, it's bad. Deathmark coming out as they get a pick onto Logan Silvers, and the Fear Beyond Death will zoom past that Sejuani.
I can't keep flaming Tony Tallboy in good conscience. I'm done.
38th in kills, first in the hearts and minds of his peers. Hey, 38th place out of 72 players is pretty good. I'm 39th. So
I'm the
Troll
29th.
Kings will push into the base. It is 8-15 with a 11k gold lead, looking very grim. 3 dragons to 1. So it just seems like the Hawks are just trying to hold on as much as they can. The cleanse will come out to get out of that Lilting Lullaby sleep, and we are going to have to look to see if the Hawks look for an engage opportunity. They will drop the Glacial Prison onto Braxy. He will go in with the Death Mark, but gets exhausted and going to get silenced. Garen trying to focus him down, but did not drop the Justice.
Braxy appeared to have gotten out, and then he just said, "Nah, I'm going in."
This just in, the Hawks had a member in ALS win Levito tonight, so congratulations to the Hawks having one of their own take away the Levito for this class.
Is that when you have like your whole foot is on the floor and you lift a toe up and it's levitating?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
real ones will know, and the fake ones will know. And we will not disclose which one Coach Matt is.
I remembered what it was, but I had a joke that I thought was at least a 3 out of 10, so I had to tell it.
Yeah. If it's a number on the scale, you have to tell it.
True.
So
sometimes it's a question of just finding out how bad it truly is.
Yeah.
Also
Speaking of truly, I got a White Claw.
I also want to bring out, as far as like performances go, as it currently stands with this game, if this game were to end right now, I believe Sketch would take the #1 spot for the most kills in the FMC at this point.
Oh, pretty interesting. Is that taking into account the amount of kills that Toman just got? Because I think he was either leading or close to leading.
Oh. No, yeah, you're right.
Deathmark coming in on Manava. They're going to try to focus him down, but they're going to stack up the stun, not throw out the stun. I don't know what happened right there with Logan Silvers. That will be a Lilting Lullaby onto 2, but no follow-up damage. This is
it's felt like Braxy has actually done a very good.
Glacial Prison comes out, but Creed Fan will just dash out of there. Cage not able to trap him in. This feels like a really, like, I don't like to focus on one exact role, but with both of them being my friends, I'll go at it. This feels like a freaking jungle gap, man. Like, and he's playing my Sejuani, so I gotta flame him. Wash, what are you doing, man?
I just want to know.
Many stack stuns that he just hasn't thrown, and Braxy just gets to run away for free on the Zed when he could just be perma down.
They are prioritizing Gromp over
They're just stealing over the whole jungle as a 4-man
It's called
squad.
Getting a gold lead, duh.
Yeah, sometimes when you're 11k gold ahead, you feel like you need a bigger gold lead, so.
Rename
Ooh, big flash knockup from #1 Creed Fan. They are going on a real dire farm, but the mom misses. Zed, Braxy going in with the Deathmark will be able to finish off that kill, and the Lilting Lullaby onto 2 will make them go easy. And now we're going on to the Asian, not going to drop the Sejuani stun, but here it does come out with, but it's too late. City in Black is the last remaining member, along with that little cat on his head, and that will be an ace for the Troll Kings, only taking the 1 death.
Must be the W. Must be the W here. What Smolder stacks that, just out of curiosity?
Did he even get fully stacked?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did, yeah.
192 stacks, ending the game at okay, we will ignore how many stacks he has, because at this point in the game, so that will be the game for the Troll Kings. Unfortunately, we're not going to have that 4-way tie that I was hoping for, pogging out for, honestly, but
is it still gonna? Is there still tiebreakers, and who are the tiebreakers right now?
There's actually a 3-way tie currently between the 501st, the 32nd, and the free agents. What's interesting about these tiebreakers is that because we have a multi-way tie, we have to resort to average win time, the time it took for you to win the games and all the games that you won, and then we prioritize a mini bracket of sorts of the tied teams to compete for the remaining seeds that they are competing for. So in this case, being 2nd, 3rd, and 4th seed. So the average game times will be revealed as free agents with an average game time or win time of 33 minutes and 20 seconds. 32nd with an average win time of 32 minutes and 39 seconds, and the 501st with an average win time of a shocking 29 minutes and 49 seconds. To put it into context, if the Hawks won tonight, they, before this game, had an average win time of 28 minutes and 4 seconds. And assuming they could have had a quick-ish game, they would have been the leading team in this tiebreaker. So yeah, this tiebreaker will happen tomorrow, starting at 1900, and it will be the 32nd versus the free agents, which is also interesting because if there wasn't a multi-way tie, the free agents would have won that tiebreaker due to the head-to-head matchup being a 2-0. But because it's a multi-way tie, we are going into some of the niche situations that we never thought would come around when we first made the league 3 years ago. And we're getting into this situation. So, 32 versus free agents in the first tiebreaker game. The winner of that will go on to face the 5-0 first to compete for second or third seed, and the loser will get fourth seed. The Hawks have just secured their fifth seed, sadly, with this loss, but fifth seed nonetheless is still a great spot. So, that is where we are at. What are you guys thinking when it comes to those tiebreaker matchups tomorrow?
Look, it's hard to say because we know from literally recent games what a 32nd versus FA team will look like, but we don't know how it will end. Like, because we know with the strong addition of the top laner, I believe Senior Menhez, he is a very strong player and really fought to win that previous game. But what I now know is that the 32nd is trying to learn from their mistakes and want to come back with a vengeance here for the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I would.
The winner of that game has to play the 5-0 first.
What's interesting is it's a bit of a comeback story for both the 32nd and the 5-0 first. The 5-0 first having probably I would just say like an objectively pretty weak mid-season. A lot of mistakes, notably from their jungler, whoever that guy is, and just overall weakness in general. What's also interesting is the 5-0 first is 0-2 to the 32nd. The 32nd is 0-2 to the free agents, and the free agents are 0-2 to the 5-0 first. So we have a triangle of tiebreaker situations here, where if it was just a head-to-head, the free agents would have secured second seed tonight. But because of this, it's anyone's game who could be second, third, or fourth seed. And so it's going to be extremely exciting tomorrow night. I am looking forward to playing in it, and I'm also looking forward to watching it. So I can't wait. And to follow that up, next week will be the start of playoffs. So after we find out our final seeds tomorrow, we will get to watch the first series of the playoffs, which will be the 29th versus the 41st, our first and 8th seed. I'm trying to see if there's other games that we know are definitely happening. So whoever loses in the first tiebreaker tomorrow will face the Hawks in our second series. Our third series will be the loser of the second tiebreaker against JT. And then our number 2 seed, whoever wins overall in the second tiebreaker tomorrow, will face off against the 34th in the fourth series. So we will have series 1 through 3 next week, I believe. 1 through 3, as well as our first series of lower bracket. But unfortunately, our earlier lower bracket series will not get streamed individually. So they will be happening at the same time as our upper bracket teams or games are. And then once we get closer to the end of lower bracket, we will stream those games for the semifinals and the finals of lower bracket, as well as jumping back up to upper bracket where we jump straight into the finals. We are playing a double elimination style playoff bracket for this season, which is the first time we are getting to do this. And only because we have had such a great showing this year with the 8 teams that we formed, and it sounds like there's inklings of a lot of these units that didn't have their own teams wanting to make teams for next season. I've heard inklings from the 75th. I've heard it from the 22nd. I've heard it from the Navy. I know the Army has enough people. So I will be extremely excited to see if we go from 8 to 10 or maybe even 12 teams next season later this year. But I'll focus on the present. We'll look forward to the tiebreakers tomorrow. We'll look forward to the playoffs next week. We want to see you all back here tomorrow, and please just keep tuning in. Please keep spreading the word. Get the hype going, because we are at the very end, and we are going to see who can reign as the champion for Season 3 of FMC. Thank you for watching tonight.